So picture this. You wake up, the sun is shining, and you are absolutely determined to have just a super productive day. But before you even step out the front door, you're hit with this immediate, relentless barrage of choices. Which brings us to a question I think literally all of us can deeply relate to. Why are you so tired? By lunchtime, you haven't done anything physically demanding, right? I mean, you haven't run a marathon or built a house. Yet somehow your brain feels completely and utterly exhausted. Even just deciding what to watch on Netflix later in the evening suddenly feels like climbing Mount Everest. And it actually starts the very second you open your eyes. What to wear? It seems completely harmless, just picking out a shirt, but this is actually the start of a massive compounding mental load. Then you stumble into the kitchen, and bam, here's the next hurdle. What to eat? Are we doing eggs or cereal today? Coffee or tea? It's just another seemingly harmless choice added to the pile, quietly building up that tension in your mind. Eventually, you sit down at your desk and the barrage completely intensifies. Which email do you answer first? What task actually deserves your attention? Should you check your phone real quick? Now, what's truly fascinating about all this is the underlying truth it reveals. Our brains were simply never designed to make hundreds of these tiny decisions every single day. To really get this, look at the stark contrast between 40,000 years ago and today. Way back then, your ancient ancestors faced relatively few choices, but they came with literal life or death stakes. Find food, stay safe, protect the group. Today, however, you face thousands of tiny, incredibly low-stakes decisions. We've essentially been transported from an ancient baseline of high-stakes survival into this overwhelming modern avalanche of choices. And that right there points to the biological mystery behind our daily exhaustion. 20%. The human brain is honestly one of the most energy-hungry organs in your entire body. Even though it makes up only about 2% of your body weight, it consumes a massive 20% of your body's energy. In the ancient world, every single calorie mattered. Thinking deeply all day long? That wasn't free. It was incredibly expensive biologically. Because of that high energy cost, evolution heavily rewarded brains that avoided unnecessary thinking. So we developed evolutionary shortcuts. These are habits and instincts formed by ancient humans to avoid overthinking and to conserve those vital, life-saving calories. And I really want to reassure you right now, your automatic behaviors, that desire you have to just take the easy way out sometimes, that didn't develop out of laziness. It developed as a vital evolutionary mechanism to ensure your survival. And your modern brain is still following this exact same ancient rulebook today. Which brings us to a really critical question. What is the actual cost of a choice? Well, every single decision you make, whether it's as tiny as picking a font for an email or as massive as buying a house, it burns up your limited cognitive resources. It uses up your attention. It literally taxes your memory. It drains your self-control. Absolutely nothing is free. So the crucial point here, our core diagnosis for this explainer, is decision fatigue. It's the straining of your cognitive resources over time, which causes your brain to seek the easiest possible path just to conserve energy. As the day goes on, your brain gets completely tired of weighing options. It actively starts looking for the path of least resistance, simply because it desperately wants to conserve what little mental energy it has left. And you can literally see the compounding behavioral symptoms of this fatigue mapped out as your day goes on. First, you get procrastination, then impulsive purchases. Next up, junk food cravings, and finally, actively avoiding difficult conversations. When you experience these symptoms late in the day, I really want you to remember this progression. It validates that your behavior is a biological energy conservation strategy, not some personal weakness. Your brain is literally just trying to save you from running out of fuel. Now, let's take a look at the crime scene of our modern world. We are facing a modern avalanche. We have hundreds of clothing options in our closets, thousands of products lining store shelves, endless social media feeds to scroll through, unlimited streaming options, constant vibrating notifications. Look, technology has given us incredible freedom, for sure, but it presents a sheer volume of choices that completely and utterly overloads our ancient brain's capacity. The direct result of all this is simple yet totally devastating: mental overload. And I want you to really let this sink in for a second. This feeling of being totally overwhelmed happens simply because the human brain never, ever expected this much freedom and choice. You aren't incapable. You are not broken. You are just operating a beautifully complex ancient machine in a modern environment it was never built for. So how do we actually fix this? Well, we have to completely shift our approach to managing our daily choices.
On one hand, you have the endless deciding of what to wear and eat, which is a fast track to mental burnout. But on the other hand, we see a totally different approach. Highly successful people use predictable routines. Have you ever noticed how many successful leaders intentionally wear the exact same style of clothes or eat the exact same breakfast every single day? They aren't limiting their lives. They're fiercely protecting their mental energy. What they're doing is leveraging this incredible evolutionary mechanism. Scientifically speaking, a habit is a tool that allows the brain to run on autopilot, saving its energy for decisions that actually matter. It is the ancient brain's absolute favorite way to conserve energy. To your brain, predictability equals saved calories. And honestly, that's exactly why breaking a bad habit feels so insanely hard. Your brain has to suddenly start thinking and burning energy instead of just reacting on automatic pilot. But if we don't manage this energy drain, things can go south pretty fast. We face the darker side effects of fatigue. Studies actually show that when your mental resources are depleted, you experience increased impulsivity and totally heightened emotional reactions. You delay important work, and you suffer strained relationships. This perfectly explains why your patience shrinks and why some tiny disagreement suddenly feels like a massive relationship-ending argument after a long day at the office. The problem isn't your personality, it's just your depleted mental resources. Therefore, the cure isn't forcing yourself to just think harder. The answer is to manage your energy, not your time. And this is a really profound shift in perspective. If you want to think more clearly and perform better, you have to align your modern life with your ancient brain. You have to start treating your cognitive energy like a limited daily bank account. Once it's spent, it's gone. So let's look at a few rapid-fire survival hacks to help you do exactly that. Step 1, make your biggest, most important decisions early in the day when your energy tank is totally full. Step 2, create repetitive routines for mundane tasks just to put them on autopilot. Step 3, reduce unnecessary choices. Unsubscribe from those emails, declutter your desk. Just simplify your environment wherever you can. And moving right along to finish our survival guide, here are the next steps. Step 4, turn your health behaviors into automatic habits so you don't have to internally debate going to the gym every single time. Step 5, take breaks before you actually hit that wall of mental overload. And crucially, Step 6, prioritize quality sleep. Never forget that your brain heavily relies on quality sleep to restore all those depleted cognitive resources we've been talking about today. Now, here is a thought that I hope relieves the immense, often crushing pressure we put on ourselves. Sometimes good enough is better than endlessly searching for the perfect answer. You really do not need to optimize every single tiny choice in your life. The ancient brain values progress and survival way more than perfection. Giving yourself permission to just be good enough on the small things actually saves your brain power for the big things. As we reach the end of this explainer, I really want to validate what you feel at the close of a long, hard day. Just think about what you are carrying around. Thousands of decisions, countless micro-judgments, constant buzzing uncertainty. It is an incredibly heavy, invisible load. Your ancient brain is navigating a modern world that asks it to do far, far more than it was ever originally designed to handle. So the next time you feel completely exhausted by 3 p.m., remember this. Stop fighting your brain. This is such an empowering realization to have. Once you truly understand this evolutionary system, you can stop judging yourself for being tired. You can stop fighting your own biology and actually start building daily routines that work with it. And this brings us to our ultimate goal here. Success isn't about making more decisions, it's about making the right decisions. This is a super powerful emotional anchor to keep in mind. You are conserving your precious mental energy so that you actually have it available for the moments, the people, and the choices that truly matter in your life. Which leaves us with one final provocative question to think about. What will you put on autopilot tomorrow? Seriously, take a moment to think about that. How will you conserve your energy? Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope this leaves you ready to take immediate action and hungry to uncover even more mysteries of the human mind. Until next time, protect your energy.